Hi, I'm Wayne Axelson from TRAX Power Dollies, and I want to show you a neat little accessory we have that accompanies our power dollies. This steel that you see here is a three-part component. We have a front, and this part goes into our TX6000 power dolly, a center bar, and a back axle assembly. The idea with this is we ship you these components along with all the screws and hardware you need. You go to the lumberyard, Home Depot, wherever you buy your wood from, and you get two 2x8s by 10 feet and three 2x4s by 8 feet. And I'm going to show you how to turn this into a 9-foot long trailer for moving your hot tub. You can stand your hot tub up and move it through any garden gate, anything 3 feet wide or wider, it'll just drive it right through. So I have two 2x8s by 10 feet long, and I have three 2x4s 8 feet long. Now this is just standard spruce lumber. If you want, because once this is built it might sit outside all the time, you can get pressure treated lumber. That's completely your choice. Our goal is we're going to make a 9-foot long platform. If you want to make it longer, you can leave it at 10 feet, but I found most hot tubs are only 8 feet wide, so having it longer just makes it hard to go around corners. So, first thing is we're going to pick, because I've got 10-foot boards and I want to end up with a 9-foot, I'm cutting a foot off the end. Choose whichever end is kind of the worst, because sometimes there's blemishes in the wood, and we're going to cut off the poor part. So, I'm satisfied that this is my good end, so I'm coming down here. I'm going to mark 9 feet on these two. And I'm going to take these over and I'm going to cut these. And you have an option, cut whatever you have as far as wood cutting tools. I'm going to use a compound miter saw, but if you need to, you can just put a square line on and you can use a skill saw, hand saw, whatever you have. But the idea is to end up with a 9-foot long board. On my 2x4s, I want two main rails. My two rails are going to be 88.5 inches. So I'm going to do these guys. I'm going to mark 88.5. My second one is going to be 88.5. And then I also want 4 pieces at 14.5. So I'm going to mark one of these guys, 14.5. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to keep marking my next 3 so I have 4 pieces at 14.5 inches. I'm ready to start cutting my first piece of wood. Make sure you wear safety glasses and follow all the safety precautions of your power tools. So here's my 9-foot mark. Now I'll do the second one. This kit comes with all the hardware you need to put it together, and here's the list. Alright, now that our pieces of wood are all cut, it's time to start putting this together. It's nice to have a table to work on. If you don't have a table, you can always just do this on the floor, but a table is always pleasant. Step 1 is to get your two 2x4 rails on the table here. We need a pencil and a tape measure. I want to measure from the end in 30 inches in both directions. So I want to go 30 inches here, 30 inches, and I'm going to do from the other end as well, 30 and 30. So these two pieces that are going in the center, I have them marked at 30 inches. That just evenly divides this into 3. It really doesn't matter whether you go centered on that line, if you go to the right, to the left. We're just looking for kind of an even distribution of these cross members. So once we have have that marked, using the 3.5-inch deck screws provided, we're going to go ahead and put 3 screws into each piece as we go along. And it's also important that we keep this assembly square. So you can actually use a framing square, or if you have a table, if you just line up the edges with the corner of an already square table, that's a great guideline. Okay, now that our base frame is done, this is what it should look like. We've got 2 long rails and 4 cross pieces made out of 2x4s, and we should be 16 inches wide, and overall we are 88.5 long. Now that is done, our 2 pieces of 2x8 are going to go on top of here. We have to determine this will be our front end of our unit. So we put these guys on and determine the nicest side, leave the nicest side to the top. So we're going to have some overhang on both ends. And what I'm looking for, regardless of the length you want to make this little trailer, I want 8.5 inches overhanging on the front, and I want 11 inches overhanging on the back. So if you decide you want to make this 10 feet, you're going to add another foot of length to your bottom rails. So you may need to get longer 2x4s. Maybe the 8 feet doesn't work. So what we're going to do is up at the front here, we want to measure 8.5 inches. And then we're going to slide our piece down to our mark. So we have 8.5 inch overhang. And then we're going to screw this down with deck screws. Okay, we now have 26 3.5 inch screws holding our 2 deck boards down into the subframe. Now, the important thing is we have 8.5 inches of overhang here. We have 11 inches of overhang at the back, which I do, so we're good. So we're going to go ahead and put our gooseneck on. And the way this laser cut piece is designed is that those 2x8s slide in the top. So this is going to come around here, slide in and fasten like this, but we're going to flip the assembly over. Okay, now that I'm flipped over, I have my gooseneck and a pencil. I'm going to just hold that up in there, as tight as I can, and you'll see we've got some holes here. We're just going to mark each of our holes. Now we have a 5/16 by 1.5 inch long lag screw with the washer, but we're going to pre-drill our holes to make it easier. Okay, I have a 3/16 drill bit, and I want to pre-drill each of these holes. And I'm going to try to go most of the way through, but I don't want to break through the other side. So I can see, well, I want to be roughly to there. So I'm just going to get them as centered as I can. Okay, we're going to wipe off the shavings. Now, I got to swap batteries. I have a 1/2 inch socket here on a driver. If you just have, if you don't have the driver, just a hand tool, if you need a 1/2 inch wrench. One way or another, I need 8 of these. So here is this is a 5/16 by 1.5 inch lag screw with a washer. So we want to put washers on because we're going to use 8 of them on the front and 8 on the back. Okay, so I have 8 of them ready to go. I'm going to bring them over here so they're handy. I'm going to set my piece in here. It doesn't matter what order you do them in. Okay, so those are all in. Now we're going to move to the back end. This is the back wheel assembly. Again, a nice laser cut piece with all the holes that you need in here. We're going to set this in place. Now, this just sets on here. The idea is if this piece is square, you want to push it up, keep it as centered as possible, and push it up so it's tight. And just do your best to get it as square with the trailer. Because if for some reason this wasn't perfectly square, this is obviously not a high-speed rig, but you want to keep it as square as possible. So get it into a position where you're satisfied with the layout, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to circle our holes with our pencil. We're going to pre-drill them with a 3/16 drill bit and put in the other 8 lag screws with the washers. Oh, my bit came loose here. Okay, now that we have the back assembly on, we've got the front on, all we have to do is we're going to fix this cross plate. It has a couple holes here, so when the trailer's flipped over and the hot tub's on, we can run a ratchet strap all the way around that thing and get it secured so the tub can't shift side to side. Okay, last step, with our tape measure, I want to measure back 38 inches from the front of this subframe. So I want to mark 38 inches. Gonna mark the other side at 38 inches. And then we're gonna put our plate on the back side of that line. So we just set our plate up here. Get the line to the front on each side. Just stick your fingers in there, you'll just get it symmetrical. This is not a critical measurement at all, you just want it as evenly by eye as you can. We're gonna go 2 screws down here, 2 screws down here, and that's it. Just tapping this in the move like with the first screw in, okay, so now we're lined up with the other mark. All right, here we go. We have completed the assembly of the hot tub moving trailer, or whatever other item you want to move with this thing. You'll find this really handy because it can go through your garden gate. You can sneak it into backyards and the tight areas. When you do get your hot tub on here, you just drive this up. You have a couple guys will just tip the hot tub up, and because hot tubs are typically pretty high, you'll find that the leverage point, it'll rest against here and it'll just tip over nicely. Center it up on the trailer, and then you have a tie down hook spot here for a ratchet strap. You can go a ratchet strap from there up over the top of your hot tub. Down at the back here you also have a couple little lugs to tie on to the other end. And then of course going a strap around this way side to side, you'll come down and hook onto here. So 2 guys can easily move a hot tub. You flip it up, tie it down. One guy drives it with the TX6000 and the other one can just steady it as it goes. Should be simple and easy.